Upwind in strong wind is like pushing yourself to your maximum and knowing that there's always more to give. Lactic acid through your legs, but I think it's one of the best feelings. The most difficult moment for me personally during the Olympics was probably in Paris, day 6 when we had the medal race. The conditions were very varying, and we had lighter breeze. So they put a course in for light breeze. All of a sudden, we get 5 knots more as we start, and the course was just super short. And it felt like in 3, 2, 1, the moment's gone, and the medal race was over. And I was kind of like left hanging with a feeling of there has been like no fight possible in this medal race, and it really left me really thinking about sailing. And it was really defeating. In the moment itself I couldn't really place the feeling because there's so much going through you. There's disappointment with the result, there's also proud of the achievement, there's this is not what I wanted for myself results wise. And it was really hard to come to terms with it. But now looking back at it, it was really just this moment of I don't feel like I can fight, and that's really not a nice feeling. So that's that was really hard for me, and I did struggle a couple of months after the games with really just being super disappointed in the whole situation, and not necessarily myself, just the way everything played out. But I guess that's also sailing. So yeah, the Olympics taught me probably to be a more wholesome person. There's so much that goes into planning an Olympic campaign, and realizing how important it is to take ownership of everything that's happening around you and with you and your program and in everything that comes with it. I think that I really learned that in the last quad, and it's really something that I will take forward in my life, that if you in the end, you're the one making things happen. And if you surround yourself with the right people that will help you do that and help you achieve that and be a soundboard for your thoughts and emotions and skill sets, then I think you will have the best result possible. So if I had to give an advice, it's probably really to make sure you understand every decision that's being made by the team and really have the most input you could possibly have with all the experience you gather along the way. I think the training before the games, everything ramps up really quickly. So for Paris, we only had a 3-year preparation, which seems maybe a lot, but it's a year less than, it's only 75% of what otherwise would be 100%. So quite quickly after Tokyo, we went back into training for Paris. And I think the last months before, they were very much geared on just perfecting skill sets, but also dropping a little bit in weight, really making sure that we understand the venue. So we trained a lot of days in Marseille. And I think overall, the last month really should be about finishing touches, not changing anything big. Like you're not going to change your technique hugely just 2 months before the games. You could just gotta go with what you have and find the biggest confidence in what you've done. Biggest challenge on my way to the Olympics would probably be optimizing the team around me, the support team, going from coach to mental coach, physical coach, technical director. It's been quite a long journey to optimize this and to really have everything working really well together. And I think it's quite difficult because you work in a system of a federation, and some things are not your choosing. But I really feel like towards Paris that we had such a nice environment with all people working really well together. So I think that was definitely a big challenge. Yeah. The most stressful thing for me is always definitely the first start at an Olympics. I gotta say, I can't really remember my first regatta that I sailed ever. It's been so long, I can't remember really being stressed out about it. I think the first race of the Olympics is always yeah, it really gets you going. There's so much anticipation going into that first start and in that first race, and the start of finally your Olympic competition, which you've been working for 8, 12 years. It's really something special. And I remember in Tokyo at my first Olympic Games ever, the first race, we were about to launch and to get on the water. And I could hear these helicopters up in the air, and I just remember really trying to like cool myself down and really trying to breathe, because yeah, the stress level was really quite high. But yeah, in the end, yeah, you just get on with it, and then as soon as you start, like that stress kind of like disappears a little bit, because you're just so focused on going fast and doing the best you can. The advice I would give to young people would probably just to be tenacious. You stick with it. You don't need to be the biggest talent to be able to make it, if only you work hard and diligent and also work smart. So I think those things I would give to the young sailors. Don't be discouraged by the gap that might seem unsurmountable to the top, because you will get better. And there's a saying in Dutch, which is de aanhouder wint, and it means the person who perseveres will in the end win. So the most memorable event of the Olympic Games for me in Paris personally was seeing my husband, Matt Wern, going back to back in the Olympic gold in the Ilka 7 class. I think that was a super special moment, and because Paris was so different from Tokyo, in the sense that we actually had spectators there, family, friends, and it was really cool to see the whole Australian squad cheering for him, but then also the whole Belgian squad, which was very, very nice to see. And just, yeah, being able to be there for him for that moment was super special. And I think another thing that I remember very vividly is the basketball match, women, Australia versus Belgium, for the bronze medal, which Matt and I watched together, which was a real, woo, I cheer, and then woo, he cheers. So unfortunately, Belgium became fourth and not third. But yeah, that was a really cool moment as well. I think there's definitely a difference between competing in the Olympics and the other regattas, just because of how different it is perceived by the world. There's nobody who watches our world championships or European championships that's not a sailor. But all of a sudden at the Olympics, everybody's watching. And I think that is something that's sometimes hard to deal with, especially coming from a sport that's never really in the limelight. And then all of a sudden, you've got these cameras, you've got these helicopters, everybody's making it a huge deal. There's all these different rules about, no, you're not allowed to wash your boat with soap, which we're always allowed to do. You can't touch this, or you get penalty points. Make sure you walk within the lines, or this happens. So it's quite a high stress environment, and I don't think there's anything that really can prepare you for that in doing other regattas. When I started sailing, to be honest, I never thought I would be where I am today. I started sailing because it was pretty much convenient to my dad, because he was running a local sailing school, and during the summers, that's where he had to be, and I was the youngest of 3 siblings. So there was nobody at home to take care of me, so I just came with. I remember learning to ride my bike at the sailing club. I remember spending just a lot of hours around there. So yeah, when I started sailing, I definitely enjoyed it, but I never thought I would be where I am today. I think the highest level of a sailing competition is a bit hard to define for me. There's so many different kinds of competitions that are out there. I mean, to me, and that's also what I'm, striving for, the highest level of a sailing competition is the Olympic Games in the Ilka class. And winning a gold medal there, I think, is one of the highest things to achieve. But saying that, I also think winning an America's Cup, for example, is like an unbelievable feat. And it's also something that's super special. So yeah, it's a bit hard to say, but if I would have to choose for myself, I probably would choose Olympic sailing.